Wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Today, we're going to have our fifth town hall of the year. Of course, the month of May. Today, it is June 5th, and we're talking about what happened in the last month. But we will also be getting into some of the future things, a lot of the exciting movements that are happening on the RWA Inc. side. Important for everyone to understand. We are expanding on so many different areas, and a lot of exciting stuff is definitely to come. So welcome, everyone. We'll give it a few seconds, and then we will kick off here with our CEO and founder, Kevin Unai. So let me hand it over to you, Kevin. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you all for listening in here. We are presenting a lot of amazing stuff today. So first and foremost, I want to tell you that we are now implementing agentic AI and AI tools across operations. This is a huge deal. This is something I personally have been very, very excited about. As you might know, I come from a background where we actually did speech recognition and developed that for many, many years. So I know a little bit about AI, and it's super impressive where AI can take RWA Inc. I don't really think that people really understand the potential we have here by amplifying AI in the scale that we are actually doing. As you know, we also have invested heavily into AI, but now we're also using AI at a very, very high level. So this will give us superpowers, and it will amplify a lot of things, and it's a great tool for our leadership and also the team in general to finally really get all the right tools and really be able to amplify that as part of our growth strategy. Yeah. So AI is about understanding prompting, understanding how to execute and how to use AI correctly. And we have simply mapped all the best tools and now giving all our employees actually free usage of these tools to really amplify the work. So it's super exciting, and I can already now see that the results are stunning. So very, very exciting times. Yeah. We are also implementing KPI system across all KPIs. More than 400 KPIs will be measured. I know community focus very much on just one, which is the price, but we actually measure on many, many other KPIs. And funny enough, operations actually is booming right now, and we can see growth in almost all our KPIs. AJ will talk about that later. But it's very, very important what I'm saying here, because we are very aware of where we are good and where we can do better. And by always measuring where we can do better and really put our efforts into what I call pain points, that's how we grow. That's how we become better and better over time, as you also can see. Yeah. So we had a vision, you can say, and we spoke about it in the past town halls, that we wanted to connect with tier ones, connect with tier one exchanges, connect with tier one people in general. And we actually achieved that. We actually know all the tier ones now and are connected to all the people you read about on X and on television and all that. So that goal has actually been accomplished, and we're super proud of that. Super proud that we are now connected with, I don't want to name drop here, but the top OGs in the space. And we're sure that this will be the beginning of a long friendship and long partnership. And I just want to say we are the most connected in the industry right now. Yeah. As I mentioned, we are very aware where we're good and where we can improve. and nobody's perfect. And we have also seen, when we have analyzed the last 6 months since we launched, areas where we actually could have done better, and also where we can do better in the future. And I think that's a strength, to really be able to also look at yourself and say, where could I've done better, and where do we need to put in all our efforts now? And that has been a great success. And we actually can see already now that any pain point in the company actually takes very little time to solve, because we have such a great team and we are working so great together. And it's really a joy to work with this team. So well done, team. Also, and this is one of the points, and the community has also asked for us to do more marketing. We have a very, very structured marketing, but we can do so much more, and that's actually what we are activating now. Mike will tell much more about that later, but we are doing everything that the community wants us to do. We are actually preparing and doing. So look forward to some very, very heavy campaigns going forward. Yeah. Thanks, Mike. And it's all about really defining your revenue streams, because everything is about having a healthy ecosystem, right? So we really want the revenue in focus now in everything we do. And we have defined now all our product and service catalogs. We have defined our revenue streams, and now we're activating the marketing to convert into revenue. So it's going to be exciting to see.
Wonderful, Kevin. Thank you so much for giving us a bit of a helicopter view and an opportunity to see where we're really going as a business. So I just wanted to give a little shout out here as we have Sean joining us today, which is super exciting. Sean is one of our board of directors, and he joined the RWA Inc. team a few months ago, been with us, been a part of our discussions, and really have a strong background in the whole investment space. So Sean, maybe before I jump in and talk a lot about the actual platform and everything we're building and where we are and all of these different things, maybe it would actually make sense that you take a moment, just introduce yourself to the community and share why RWA Inc. and why did you want to step into this journey? Oh, Sean, we are not hearing you for some reason. It does not sound like we're getting you through yet.
Now, Mike?
There we go. Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Sorry, guys. That's it's not that I'm probably the older guy in the call. That's why things weren't working. So I apologize. Well, it's very good to be here, and very nice to meet everybody in the community. So I'd say we're very excited about our RWA. My background and experience, a serial entrepreneur, started, sold several companies, but came from kind of the payments and as well as crypto world, and also running a large company now focused on innovation and banking and a lot of areas. And I think real world assets is a major market. And it's one thing that there's about 1,000 companies out there trying to attack it. And when you look at a company in its early stages, you don't bet just on the technology, 95% you're betting on the team. And so if you look at the team we have at RWA, you look at what Kevin's put together and Mike has put together and AJ and even the rest of our advisors and board members, we really have a team that is set up for an institutional quality kind of company, right? A company that has the expertise, has the management discipline to not just be a fly-by-night company, but really build, as everyone's talked about, an ecosystem and a platform to actually be long-term, really dominate this industry. And I think a lot of the hard work, Kevin's been at this a while. This is not an overnight success. Kevin's really put in the hard work and effort that what you're seeing is starting to punch through the surface. So we're very excited. I think I've been spending some decent amount of time out in the UAE and a lot of other markets. And I think our ability to really make this company a tremendous success and tap into a lot of large pools of capital as we start to get to sort of we call it the phase 1.5 or 2 of the company's initiative. We're really working as a company and as a board to set up many of these sort of larger phase 2 efforts for the company. So there's things that may not be right above the surface, maybe behind the scenes, that myself and the other board members are working on. But safe to say we're here for the long term, and look forward to really this being a great, successful company. So thanks, Mike, and really proud to be here with the team, and hopefully in the future joining these calls and sharing some insights with the rest of the group here. So thank you.
Awesome, Sean. No, I really appreciate it, and it is an honor to have a profile like Sean, both on our team, our board, and also on the call today. Sean has a very, very extensive experience in the fundraising space and been touching on some of the bigger unicorns out there. So I think a very humble intro, I would say, Sean. So thank you for keeping it chill here, but this is a different caliber, and thank you for talking so well about the team. Definitely agree with you that team first when you're looking at startup scale up companies, right? Like the team is just key. So let me definitely take over here from Kevin and Sean and jump a bit into some of the actuals, like more specific tactical stuff, right? And I think if we start here at the investor platform and we kind of go from left to right, today we've signed up more than 10 projects that are on our acceleration. They're already through our go-to-market services. We are, of course, generating revenue from these projects, as well as advisory token that we will also get in these projects, which will all go into that revenue buyback and burn ecosystem. So the more of our clients that go to market, the better it will become. Of course, this all depends on market conditions, on behaviors in the market, on everything like that, but they are activated, fully signed, and ongoing clients in our ecosystem. What's, of course, exciting and something that everybody has been working on or waiting for, is the private fundraising platform. And this is because whenever we bring a project to market on an IDO, so the public crowdfunding, that only happens about a week before the token generation event, so the TGE, right? And the problem is, if the project cannot launch because of a market condition or some other reason, we can't do the public crowdfunding before the actual launch happens. But what's good about private fundraising is that can actually be ongoing for a period of time. This can give us the opportunity to be able to launch projects and give access to our ecosystem to these projects at a very early stage level, giving you the listing price opportunity. And I know we've heard a lot from our community. We have had a lot of discussions about it, and we got to be honest about it. Our project listed at 1 cent as a price, right? And early investors were able to buy into that project at 1 cent. And our project went up to 14 cents and was stable at 10 cents for a very long time. Of course, then we had some early investors who went out and they said, hey, we want to take some profit on this because this is why we invested early in this project. This is the opportunity that you as a community is getting now for every single future project. So you actually get the opportunity to get that first listing price, maybe in some cases even a discounted listing price. And what's very cool about this is that we are extremely close. What I'll do today is I'll show you a mock experience of what the private fundraising platform looks like. This is not the design that's going to market, of course, but I can't show you our development servers or staging servers. So we are internally testing that, and we will put it to production very, very soon. What's also awesome about that is we already have 9 clients who are ready to be listed on that private investor platform, meaning that fundraising will actively be initiated. We will have utility going on. You'll be able to access all of this if you are a Gold Plus tiering on the platform. Of course, we also have 3 clients in our IDO. We do have multiple other clients requesting if they can do the public fundraising on our platform as well. And all of that is being discussed as we work through it right now. Now, another thing that I also know the community has been talking a lot about and been discussing, hey, what about the DEX? When is that coming? Well, we wanted to make sure that we actually had the private investor platform ready first, because we wanted to get our clients to market and launch them to be able to put them on the DEX. A DEX is not super exciting if there is not a lot of projects on it. And sure, we could, just take some projects from the world and put it on a DEX and then, put it on our platform, but that wouldn't really fit the narrative. It wouldn't really fit our purpose. And we only want to have projects that are high quality trading on our platform. We only want to work with Doc's team, real businesses, people with revenue, purposes, and real founding teams that are here to bring disruptive technology to the market. So therefore, the DEX and swap is going to be the first thing that we work on right after publishing the private fundraising platform. We expect that to take a few weeks, and then it will come live in the next few weeks. So that is also happening. Of course, it's been an ongoing process with design, development, etc., but the public launch comes after the private investor platform. Now, finally, one thing that I find at least very exciting, and this is where it becomes a super community-based investor ecosystem, because what we will be building into this platform as well is going to be the investor referral system. Now, the investor referral system really means that you can bring investors from anywhere in the world to the platform, as long as they are KYC'd and accepted and they actually invest into a project through the platform. You will gain between 1% to 2% in commission of every single dollar raised. So that means if you find people that invest, millions of dollars through the ecosystem into startups and scale-ups, you can actually make a living for yourself just on that. And that, of course, depends on your tiering as well. If you're base, you're at 1%. If you're diamond, you will be at the 2%, giving you a great opportunity. And there will even be situations where we might increase this commission for certain projects. So we're really here to build an ecosystem that is all about taking a project, a business, from the idea to the final launch, fully traded publicly in the market, and even giving back to our community in the commissions that we would have earned back to you. So complete ecosystem is expected by Q3. As also said last time, private investor platform is coming now, DEX very soon, and thereafter the investor referral system. Now, if we talk a bit about Q2, and I think it's important because a lot of people are, saying a lot of things in the community, and a lot of people are saying, well, are we even finishing the things that we promised? Well, we're an OKR, which means objective and key result driven business. This means that we care about milestones, we care about delivering what we try to promise, and we care about focus, right? We really want to deliver on what we say. Some things we have learned across the through this cycle of promising publicly available roadmaps, right? Some roadmaps, we need to be careful about these items because some things we may not be fully in control of. And therefore, it's very hard to predict, but we're trying our best to do what we can. So what you can see here is that we've expanded the board as done, completed. We expanded the investor database, completed. We have the private investment platform at 98%. We have the investor complete RWA investor referral system design completed. We have the RWA DEX at 75%, expected in a few weeks. The RWA AI agent integration is about 50%, expected in some weeks as well, might be ending up in Q3. We want to reach the 10,000 KYC users on our platform. That is 100%. We aim to sign 10 plus advisory clients by this time. That is completed. We wanted to launch 5 clients this quarter. So far, we have the RWA and the Backstage coming, and a bunch of other clients have been announcing that they want to go live soon if things improve in the market. Of course, this is something we don't control alone. The project needs to want to launch. That's why we aim for it, but we can't promise it. Now, complete at least one broker security license. Here we got the UAE license completed, and we are working through Malaysia and BVI. Of course, also buyback and burn from Q1 realized revenue, which has been $70,000 done this quarter. Of course, realizing 140,000 in revenue in the first quarter. And finally, we have the listing of the tier 1 exchange. Again, this is something that everybody is yelling for. We need that tier 1 exchange. Some people also are pretty smart when they say, hey, it does not make sense to list on a tier 1 exchange if you don't have the necessary attention and volumes. It's a very short-sighted focus. And that is why we need to complete all of the product related elements. The utility needs to go fully live, and we need to see that, ongoing kind of exposure through multi-revenue streams that ends up giving us this bigger exponential growth in the business. And that's also why we're playing on both, fundraising as a revenue stream. We will have advisory tokens as a revenue stream. We have these launches as revenue streams. And we have so many different ways that this ecosystem will actually generate revenue that will go back to the holders and to the token through the buyback and burn mechanisms. Another thing that's also very important, and I think that the community kind of glazed over this one very easily. It was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Now, the biggest cloud service platform out there for startups and scale-ups has decided to invest $250,000 in credits into our expansion, right? Like, this is not something every single startup gets. This is a longer process. It's a validation that people look at RWA Inc. and say, you're building something very disruptive, very significant, something never seen before. And that's why we want to put our money there. Of course, they also assume that we will come back and give them something back, because we will grow very aggressively, ending up spending more money with Google in the future. So of course there is a thought behind it, but they would not do this unless they believe they will get that money back tenfold. So here you're looking at a business that Google believes is going to give them tenfold money back. Again, we're in the early stages. We will get there. Now, from a product perspective, I think I made it fairly clear. Public fundraising is done, 98% on the investor platform for private investments. The deck and swap integration, 75%, investor referral system, 50% at this point, and the AI agent integration, about 50%. One of the things that we've learned, and I think this is also what Kevin alluded to in the beginning, is, hey, when you go to market as a Web3 project, you do it one time. You do it one time and the first time only. So everything you learn is that one time. You can't change what you did. You're publicly trading, token. And this means that we had some learnings that we can actually bring to our clients and help them not go through the same, obstacles or same learnings in their path. And of course, what we've learned is having a fully usable product before going to market with the utility fully integrated is something that really matters for the community. The patience in Web3 is a little bit different than it is in Web2. And it also means that it has simply taken too long from idea to final product. What is to be said, though, is that we are literally just around the corner. And I know we've said for a while, hey, it's coming, but now it's actually coming. And I think it's important that we give it enough time to grow and give it enough time and opportunity to expand in the ecosystem. So what I wanted to do as well today, as a first time ever, was actually to go through a quick demo of the actual things that we've done on the platform. And I think it's important to start with the redesign that we did. So the redesign was really a purpose for us to be able to make it simpler, make it cleaner, but also make it more detailed. So whenever you go and look for an investment in a real project, real business, whether it's a utility token or an equity that you're buying in the future, you don't need to leave this page. You can have everything in terms of descriptions of the project. You will have information about the team, of course, linked to their actual LinkedIn's and X or whatever else there is out there. You will have the full tokenomics and the breakdown of the tokenomics with all of the vesting schedules telling you exactly what's going to happen. You will have the clear utility of the project or the token of the project. So why should you even invest into this token? Why is it worth holding it, other than, of course, just speculation from the Web3 market? And then finally, you also have essential documents. And this is not very normal that you see this in one platform where you have everything that you need to be able to do diligence and research a project. What we are, of course, going to do in the future is that we're going to have an AI do the research for you in everything that's on here and give you reporting back. So you will have another button here at the end that says AI generated report, telling you exactly how the project is doing, what's the quality of these different things, and that will be integrated in the future of the platform. Another thing that we wanted to talk about today is, of course, the private investor demo. Now, this says mock demo, and it's very important, people. This is a mock demo. So this is not the final design I'm going to show you today. This is just an experience of the workflow, because the final design is on our staging server, and I can't show that publicly because they may be working on some changes. So we don't want it to break down in the middle of what we're doing here. But of course, the final design will look like the investor platform and not like this. Now, when you go to our private investor section in the future, you will be able to go in and you will be able to invest in projects that have long-term investment processes. The round will end at a given time. So here, for example, in 24 days, there will be no more opportunity to enter this project. Unless the project has filled the pool, then it will, of course, finish before time. You will need to be a gold tier plus, and you need to invest $1,000 and above. Some projects may be requiring $5,000 and above, and some may even have maximum on their investments. As you start investing, you can see here that you can put a minimum of 1,000, or you can put a maximum of unlimited. Now, if we take an example of $5,000 in USDC that I want to invest into this project, whenever I invest into it or click on the invest, I get to read the actual document that tells me what am I investing into, what is the specifics of the token, everything like that, and also what am I really signing here. This is just a mock, so don't care about this education thing. This is just a PDF that was uploaded in here, but it's just the experience we wanted to show today. As you agree to the terms and you proceed to the payment, you again get a notification, making sure you know, hey, right now you're making a decision, which is a non-refundable and non-reversible action. This means that when you push this button, you have invested into this project. The project now has the funds and can use them to launch the project, whether that is marketing, building products, listing on exchanges, or anything like that. Here you, of course, can acknowledge that and you can transfer the funds. As you can see in the lower right corner, your transaction is being processed on the blockchain and the investment is now confirmed. Hereafter, you will get the signature for the SAFT. Now, the SAFT is a simple agreement for future tokens. This is something that's used very commonly in the industry, and it's really a contract that states how many tokens am I going to get for my $5,000 and what are the terms of those tokens. How quickly am I going to get them on a vesting schedule? How big a percentage do I get at the actual TGE and everything like that. Now, as we go through this, of course, you need to fill in your full name, your wallet address, and then you will be accepting the terms to sign the SAFT. As you digitally sign the SAFT, you will be able to download the SAFT onto your computer, and then it will be saved. Now, as we go through this signature process and sign it and download it, you will also be able to see that the full process is now completed. And this means that you will be able to, when the actual round ends and when the project goes live, you will be able to claim your tokens directly through the platform. In this case, with 20% at TGE, a 2 months cliff, and a 6 months vesting period. So here, as I claim it, let's just take the 20% at TGE. I will then be sent my 1,000, in this case, test tokens to my wallet address. Of course, this amount will drop below, but this is just a mock experience of the whole process. Now, You need to understand, when we went to market and we did our launch, we had people going around because we had a lot of hype. We had a lot of people running around impersonating us, telling people that they were raising funds for our project. And people actually sent them money to their wallets without us being a part of it, without anything. And they may even have created fake contracts. What we're trying to do here is make everything compliant, regulated, and secure. This means whenever you put money into a project, you need to know that you will get the tokens, and you need to know that you can trust this team behind the project. That is what RWA Inc. stands for. Bringing you real projects with real people. Cool. Very quickly here on marketing, and I'll be quiet soon because we're almost at the hour here, or a half hour. But for marketing, what we're focusing on now is really platform awareness campaigns and user acquisition. This means that everything we're going to do is make people come to the platform, come into the investor opportunities, and of course they need to hold the RWA Inc. token in order to invest. We've spent $100,000 on influencer campaigns. We only spent 20% so far, and 80% of it will go solely to that platform awareness campaign. Additionally, we will do email campaigns, kicking off with more than 20,000 individual emails that we will either engage or re-engage to bring them into the platform for the investment opportunities. And of course, we will focus on the fact that tiering is a need in order to get exclusive access to these projects on the investor platform. Cool. I'll hand it over to you, AJ.
Thanks, Mike. And as always, you steal the show and I will count the beans. So yet again, we had a really great May, record revenue month in May. We've been slowly, rather than, as I think you've probably seen in the past, do kind of a buyback and burn all in one shot. We're kind of doing a slow accumulation of RWA over that period. Couple things to point out. So one, on the revenue side, we've been doing excellently. We've additionally changed the terms of working with new clients. So we've created a staking requirement for any new client, which is effectively creating a new use case for RWA Inc. That has actually shown up really strongly in the amount that has been staked, which we'll talk about in a little bit. One thing that I just want to say, I mean, clearly there's a lot going on. Clearly we've made a lot of progress. And I will just say, just from my professional experience, what the team has gotten done on the product side, operations side, marketing side in the last couple of months has been astounding, right? There's a lot of stuff that's being done at the same time. We're juggling a lot of tasks. We're very close to delivering a lot of new product features and use cases. And all of that has been done on a shoestring budget and in record time, right? I've seen similar product builds that take multiple years and multiple millions of dollars. This is going through in the course of months with hundreds of thousands, right? So it's very impressive to see what the team has been able to do in such a lean way. I think the expertise on the blockchain side really helps with that. And then, to Kevin's point and what he has stressed as a company is, leveraging AI wherever we can to streamline business impact. So all of the stuff on the AI side, I haven't mentioned anything here in the slides, but that is all going to push towards basically margin expansion over time, right? The more we can do with AI, just from an analytics standpoint and an automation standpoint, is helping us on a day in, day out basis. And we're seeing that, as we evolve as a business, and we're only, 5 months into the year. It's very impressive. Just to touch on the licensing side of things, we're continuing on that front. We are on track to secure our first security license issuance in Q3. And just as a reminder, right now, we don't have the ability to do anything with security tokens, right? But security tokens are the massive, asset class that BlackRock and others are talking about as this thing that the blockchain is going to be able to unlock. So when we say we get our first licenses and we won't have access to the entire market, but we will have access to a meaningful piece of that market, it expands our addressable market by over 500 times, We continue to expand on the licensing side into 2026, and that will just continue to grow, right? So both the total addressable market and our serviceable addressable market will continue to grow as we kind of follow the licensing strategies through, you know, the rest of this year and into next year. And these are time-consuming processes, but with the footing that we have on the utility token side, it allows us to effectively fund this and build these tools, get these licenses, and move into this much, much larger market over time. The thing that I'm most excited about is what we've seen on the staking side, right? So this is kind of our litmus test of our barometer of folks that are with us long term, that believe in the product, that want to use the product as we have offerings out there. So we have 61 million RWA staked, which is 10 million more than a month ago, which is almost 20% increase month over month. This is a jump in circulate as a percentage of circulating supply. It's over 17.5%, which is up from 14.5% a month ago. That's over 20% increase month over month, and it's actually our largest single month of increased staking, right? In terms of the nominal amount since we first launched, right? So obviously a lot went in when we launched. A lot of people staked, and this is our largest individual month since then by a pretty considerable margin. So we're really excited about that. There's two primary reasons for that. One is upcoming launches, right? So we've seen announcements, there are projects coming, and obviously the community's desire to participate in those, and then also participate in the private investor platform. You need to be staked, right? So that's one piece that is driving that increase in staking. And then additionally, the staking requirement for new clients, right, who sign for advisory services is another driver of that. We have a pretty large stable of clients that we're looking to sign over the next month or two. So we would expect that to continue on the staking side. And then obviously the project launches that we have coming is the real driver of the business and the utility of the token today. So as those projects roll out, if we see improvements in the market, which I think over the next 2 months, I think the macro looks really strong for a solid setup. And I think a lot of these projects are now ready to go out. So you kind of put those together, and we're slated for a very solid set of launches over the coming months here. That will obviously drive users to the platform, users participating in those IDOs, and therefore staking more. So very, very encouraging data on the staking side. And I think that trend is just going to continue over the coming months.
Awesome, AJ. Thank you for bringing us into the real numbers and what really matters here: revenues, growth, and real opportunity. So thank you so much, everyone, for attending today. Great to see such a crowd joining us still, and we will continue to build. As we've always said, we are here to expand the ecosystem, and this is really becoming a reality now. So thank you, Sean. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, AJ, for joining today. Really appreciated the time, and this was awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.